thank you for having me here and speaking, and thank you to Erickson for hosting such a wonderful conference as well. I've been really enjoying it yesterday and look forward to the discussion today as well. So I wanted to start on a personal note. It's my first time ever to Sweden, and so I'm very excited about that. And it feels like somewhat of a homecoming. We're very Swedish in my family. And my mother's like, be sure to tell them you're 77% Swedish. So, want you to know. And we actually, we grew up doing lots of Swedish things. My mother speaks Swedish, I do not. I can only say a few words. She helped me with pronunciation of a couple for today, so forgive me in advance if I goof them up. And, but we grew up, we eat lutefisk at Christmas time. I don't know if any of the Swedes in the room still do that. If you don't, please tell me at the break. Okay, thank you, somebody does. Right, we grew up eating lingonberries and cloudberry jam and making pepperkakor and when I was a child, when I was a teenager until I went to college, I actually worked in a Scandinavian shop for years and years, surrounded by Dala horses and tumtar and clogs. And so for me, it's really been a treat to come. So thank you for that as well. So I'm also excited to be here to talk about innovation, and especially diversity and innovation, which is a subject that I think the whole world can agree on, and yet we have yet to make a lot of progress on. So I'm hoping that the discussion today will be helpful. I know there's a wonderful panel coming after me where I'm sure we'll get lots of good ideas from that as well. So when we talk about innovation, obviously we talk about why do we innovate? And if we agree that innovation is good, what do we need to do to get more of it? And how do we involve more people in it? And why is it in 2023 that we continue to see really striking differences in the amount of people that participate in innovation and especially in patenting? And so as we think about the challenges we face as a global community, including climate change, from our sustainability discussion yesterday, when we think about food shortages, when we think about the need for medical innovation as well for the world, how do we actually harness the innovative firepower that the world has to bear and bring more innovation to these critical issues? And to borrow from insights shared at the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office in their 2019 report to Congress, in order to maximize the potential of nations, it's critically important that everyone across all sectors of society has the opportunity to innovate, seek patent protection for their inventions, and reap rewards from innovation through entrepreneurship and commercialization. And that's where the law comes in. As an intellectual property lawyer, it's been my life's work to enable innovators as well. And after graduating from law school, I went to become a patent litigator in Minneapolis, Minnesota. And I later became Deputy General Counsel at General Motors, which is the US's largest auto manufacturer. And 2 years ago, I took a professional leap and joined Qualcomm as General Counsel and Corporate Secretary in San Diego, California. So I traded cars and snow in Detroit for semiconductors and sun in California, which kind of seems like a no-brainer, especially when you factor in the way that Qualcomm cares about intellectual property. So as an intellectual property litigator my whole life, that was an exciting move for me to make. And so in joining Qualcomm, that has this extraordinary focus on fundamental research and development and actually protecting those inventions and bringing them to the world through standards, and a company that really pioneered the use of CDMA technology for cellular and led the smartphone revolution, the world was forever changed by that. And so to join a company that really cares about its intellectual property and wants to bring it to the world and share those inventions, which I know are values shared by other companies as well in this room, was a really exciting move for me to make. And now we're really focused on the next revolution, also advanced edge processing and artificial intelligence. So we'll look forward to that discussion later today as well. And as Qualcomm's General Counsel, my job is to help enable the business and the research and development projects and protect our investment that goes into R&D. and to navigate our way through what's consistently a challenging geopolitical environment, which I know you all are paying a lot of attention to as well, and there were good discussions yesterday. My career as a patent litigator and my time at General Motors prepared me well for some of these challenges, and I wanted to tell you one quick story from that, just because intellectual property comes up in all sorts of different and interesting ways. And we made a lot of vehicles when I was at General Motors. But when the pandemic struck, we received a phone call. Our CEO got a phone call from a small company that had patent protection on making ventilators, but couldn't get the supplies to make them at that time, given all of the challenges around the world. And so we didn't know how to make ventilators. We were great at supply chain. We really knew how to manufacture at scale. And we were shockingly fast at being able to do that. So within about a couple hours of that call, we actually were underway at helping that company to see if we could make more ventilators because there was such a crisis in the world. And we wanted to help bring that technology to bear. And so while this small company named Ventec had great technology, it was struggling to how to bring it to the world. So we reconfigured one of our plants right in the heart of the United States. And we very quickly turned to learning how to make ventilators and bringing people in to work, people from our assembly line and from other parts of our business in to help make ventilators and actually to get these parts from all around the world so that they could actually be made. And what we didn't realize, of course, when you do something like that, what we didn't expect was that the President of the United States would come out and then order us to do that. It became required, which was a little bit of a surprise and made a lot of work for our legal department. There were a lot of calls at 2 a.m. with the government trying to get these things to the strategic national stockpiles and to hospitals around the United States. But we very quickly did that, and indeed we went from that initial call, within a very, very short period of time, we turned around and 30 days later, we were actually making ventilators. So to me, it was an interesting example of what someone with intellectual property who knew how to do something but needed the help of a larger company, especially in that challenge of the pandemic, to bring it to life and to help make it so. And so it was a unique experience, but one that I think we've all learned to adapt to through this pandemic. And we've all needed to adapt and do all sorts of things we never dreamed. We ended up making masks on the line. We shipped them to hospitals. We also then made masks for our workers as well so that we could keep our plants running, because then there was a shortage of vehicles. And then there was a shortage of semiconductors. And so you can see how I end up at Qualcomm. All right, so I feel like my experience there helped me to prepare for the current job that I have and to deal with government and the challenges of geopolitics. I have a group of about 400 lawyers and professionals, most of whom, the largest group, is intellectual property at Qualcomm as well. So I'm thankful for all of their work and the work that we do together. And it was at a time when semiconductor companies, right, are facing many challenges and opportunities as well, especially as chips proliferate into more and more products, and we know that we need them for so many things. And when there's a shortage, it really highlights to people what you need them for. So it's obviously further complicated the environment, but also we continue to find solutions and to bring them to the world and to help, right? To help actually improve people's lives with the technology that we all bring. So relevant to this week's conference, a significant part of my role consists of overseeing one of the largest patent portfolios, including what we like to call the most valuable 5G patent portfolio, and one of the most successful patent licensing programs as well. And for an intellectual property lawyer, that's of course quite a treat for me. So since our founding, Qualcomm has invested over $85 billion in R&D, including over 20% of our annual revenue every year since 2006 has been invested in it. And through pioneering research, our inventors have for decades solved some of the most complex challenges on Earth. And we tackle systems-level problems years ahead of the industry and often a decade in advance of commercialization. and our relentless drive to solve these problems in an environment that really celebrates and nurtures innovation is precisely what motivates our engineers. When you come to Qualcomm, you walk into a patent wall, right? So we're constantly trying to reinforce that narrative and support our engineers in that way. So today our patent portfolio is more than 140,000 large, and with issued patents and pending patent applications worldwide. We also have the world's most developed global standard essential patent licensing program, which we started 30 years ago, which I cannot take credit for, but I have the pleasure of working with now, and which now includes over 300 licensees. And essential to funding that work is that licensing program, right? You make that investment because you're able to recuperate that investment and actually invest again for the next cycle many years ahead of time, which I know others in this room are doing as well. And so essential to funding that is, of course, our licensing revenue, which is about $6.5 billion for last year. And our licensing program now spans numerous verticals, of course, mobile devices, but also now automotive, the Internet of Things, and compute as well. We're extremely proud of the success of this business, but perhaps more importantly, it underscores the scale and impact that wireless standards have had globally. As we move closer to a world in which everyone and everything is intelligently connected, global standards will continue to play an important role in our lives. And just like our friends at Ericsson, right, we're very focused on the 6G work as well. So the development of global standards is, of course, done in concert and in competition with other companies and countries. And innovators are incentivized to invest in R&D and contribute their IP to standards because they know they can recoup their investment through licensing. And we've noticed that one truth really remains constant, that societies do best that have legal systems that protect and defend intellectual property rights. And what does it mean to really protect them? And we heard some great discussion of this yesterday in the panels. Chiefly, it means having strong laws that protect our inventions and a legal system that enables patent holders to enforce their rights in a meaningful way. And consistent with what we discussed yesterday, we should really resist calls to change the patent system in ways that favor one side or the other, or further water down remedies that such patents become less valuable than the paper they're written on. Currently, our team, including Audrey, who you heard from yesterday, is working with other patent holders to help improve a concerning legislative proposal in Europe that would essentially restructure the way standard essential patents are licensed and set up a new dispute resolution process outside of European courts. In my experience, heavy-handed, government-driven approaches, divorced from market realities, are rarely the secret sauce of innovative thinking. Maintaining a strong and balanced patent system is vital to incentivizing innovation. Simply put, inventors need the confidence of knowing that their ideas will be protected and that if they choose to commercialize, they can seek a return on their investment. We know this drives capital investment and creates value in the global marketplace. Now, looking at my own country, the United States has a strong history in this area. For hundreds of years, our patent system served as a model of strong intellectual property rights, giving inventors the incentive needed to innovate, to finance research, and to make their inventions commercially available. According to the U.S. Department of Commerce, intellectual property today accounts for more than 40% of the United States economic activity and supports 63 million United States jobs, 44% of the U.S. workforce. And in short, IP-intensive industries have become the backbone of the U.S. economy. These statistics are massive, but imagine if they were 4 times larger. The key to unlocking more innovation is simple. We need more people from more diverse backgrounds to innovate and to seek patent protection for their inventions. Moreover, a strong IP system should be there to serve and support this ever larger, ever growing, and more diverse pool of inventors. After all, they deserve the same rights and opportunities afforded to previous generations of inventors. Currently, the lack of diversity and patent holders in the US remains significant. Only 13% of inventors listed on US patents are women, while Black, Latinx, and Indigenous people account for less than 8% of all US inventors. Male-owned businesses are twice as likely as women-owned businesses to hold a patent, and women hold only 5.5% of commercialized patents. And the gaps are not limited to gender. Black individuals are 3 times less likely to become inventors than white individuals. Black and Hispanic male college graduates apply for and obtain patents at half the rate of white male college graduates. Income affects patenting as well. Children in the top 1% of family income are 10 times more likely to become inventors in their lifetimes than children in the entire bottom half of family income. And unfortunately, the US is not unique in this regard. In its recent report on the global gender gap in innovation and creativity, the World Intellectual Property Organization found that women are listed in only 23% of all patent applications around the world. Even in top patenting countries with the highest rate of women inventors, the numbers are still staggeringly low, with Spain at 26% and Colombia and Brazil at 22%. Although women make up about half of the world's population, only 1 in 8 listed inventors globally is a woman. Researchers estimate that in the US alone, increasing participation in invention and patenting by underrepresented groups would increase annual GDP by up to $1 trillion, quadruple the number of American inventors, and result in new and different inventions. Research also shows that patents help business access capital, attract customers and licensees, and create jobs. This is especially true for small businesses and startups owned by women and people of color. Startups that obtain a patent employ an average of 16 more new employees after 5 years compared to startups that do not obtain a patent. Women-owned businesses with patents pending have average revenues more than 16 times higher than women-owned businesses without intellectual property. Countries with strong IP protections also benefit. They have higher levels of foreign investment, more innovation fueled by increased funding of research and development, higher percentages of workers in good-paying jobs, and a greater potential to produce and export complex, knowledge-intensive products. So what can we do to improve the situation? How do we bring more people from more diverse backgrounds into a system that we know has this potential to expand economic opportunity and serve as a platform for critical problem solving? I certainly don't pretend to have all of the answers, but at Qualcomm, one thing we've decided is that we have to try to do something. We have to experiment, and we have to see what works. And so from a policy and organizational perspective, we've taken active steps to do that. And I want to share some of them with you today, and I'll look forward to hearing from the panel next about their ideas as well. Our work in this area began before I even joined the company. For example, in 2015, we sponsored some of the very first research on inventor diversity gaps in the United States. We learned some important lessons, including the strong mentorship programs and active employee network groups can be utilized as important resources for demystifying the patent system. We also created global incubation programs, which support regional innovation through incubation and mentorship activities, cultivating promising startups in vital technology areas such as 5G, robotics, IoT, and of course, AI. Since 2016, we've helped over 160 startups in emerging markets in India, Taiwan, Vietnam, and as of this year, Africa. In 2019, Qualcomm led the establishment of Invent Together, which is a coalition of companies, universities, and other like-minded organizations and individuals to raise awareness of the gaps in patent applications and patentees and help expand access to the patent system. With our Invent Together partners, we advocate for more research on historical exclusion from patenting and for policies and programs aimed at making patent-heavy STEM fields more inclusive. For example, in the United States, we've advocated for the passage of the Inventor Diversity for Economic Advancement Act, the IDEA Act, which would direct the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office to collect inventor demographic data on a voluntary basis and make this information available in the aggregate for research. Last July, Invent Together and Qualcomm launched an online educational tool called the Inventors Patent Academy. Since I think every company talks in acronyms, we call it TIPA, T-I-P-A. So the Inventor Patent Academy, which I'm sure I will keep calling TIPA, offering free online to inventors across the United States who want to learn how to protect their invention through patents. It was designed from the ground up to reach underrepresented groups. Its goal is to help us tap into our country's untapped supply of diverse and talented inventors who face unique barriers to entry and lack access to legal advisory services such as patent lawyers. The Inventors Patent Academy provides an e-learning course that helps inventors understand the patenting process and readies them to apply for their own patents. It also confronts the challenges that some inventors face, especially women, people of color, veterans, low-income individuals, and people with disabilities when they first engage with the patent system. Now, about a year after launch, TIPA has successfully enrolled more than 1,300 students and is adding more every month. Demographically, 46% of TIPA students are women, 25% are Asian, 20% are Black or African American, 10% are Hispanic or Latinx, and 3% are Native American, Hawaiian, or Pacific Islander. Nearly a quarter, 24%, are individual inventors. They come from all sectors of the economy, including government, higher education, startups and accelerators, and private corporations. At Qualcomm, we promoted the TIPA course through our networks, urging partners, outside vendors, consultants, and friends to amplify TIPA. We conducted personal outreach to more than 30 institutions, such as universities, including historically Black colleges and universities, and Hispanic-serving institutions, tech transfer organizations, engineering and science organizations, and government entities, including the United States Patent Office and the White House. We've been fortunate to work with strong recruiting partners from organizations like AnitaB.org, the Society of Women Engineers, and the Native American Intellectual Property Enterprise Council. We're excited that some of our partner colleges and universities are considering adding TIPA as part of their curriculum on entrepreneurship, inventorship, and patenting. And I'm also excited to share that TIPA is now listed on the U.S. Patent Office website as a learning resource for first-time filers. We are proud that this strong start may be helping, and we intend to continue to build TIPA into a more robust program that expands access to the patent system. We're very proud of members of the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office-led Council for Inclusive Innovation. We are proud members of it, called CIP, and with Invent Together have co-hosted a number of events with WIPO, focused in this area as well, including online discussions featuring heads of IP offices to discuss the importance of addressing the IP gender gap, a series of discussions among economists at IP offices to exchange best practices, and a series of closed meetings in which innovators can share challenges and lessons learned as they seek access to improve the experience for female inventors at the micro level as well. We note that Director General Darren Tang of WIPO has made inclusive innovation ecosystems a top priority, appointing Lisa Jorgensen as gender champion and hiring dedicated staff to integrate diversity into all of WIPO's work. We have welcomed and will continue to support that work as well, because the importance of that work cannot be overstated. I also want to take a moment to acknowledge the work of the USPTO in this area. The agency has been very focused on it for many years now with the establishment of the Council for Inclusive Innovation, which I mentioned earlier, and the establishment of a women's entrepreneurship program, which focuses not just on patenting, but also on funding and mentorship. And I'm looking forward to Suzanne's panel as well to hear more information. We applaud the work that Suzanne and the U.S. Intellectual Property Alliance are doing to raise awareness of the importance of IP and the need for more diverse perspectives on innovation. In addition to our external advocacy, we know that our efforts and programs internally need to reflect what we've learned as well. And I want to share them with you in case they might be helpful at your organization too. To that end, we've created and deliver a new Inventors Workshop series entitled Cultivating Innovation. It's a collaborative program between our IP department and our global employee resource groups to increase diversity of innovation at Qualcomm. We have found these workshops to be extremely effective. We get great feedback from them about preparing people to actually engage. And we found that 80% of participants were more likely to actually submit invention disclosures after they went through the program. Given the overwhelmingly positive feedback in our large engineering community, we're also incorporating the use of the Inventors Patent Academy programming for our own employee onboarding and with our new engineers. And we're utilizing it broadly within the company. And if this resource would be useful to your company, please know it's freely available to you. It's online at learn.inventtogether.org. And we would be thrilled to have anyone use it that might find it useful for their company as well. Through our work in this area, we at Qualcomm understand the importance of actively cultivating and supporting an environment conducive to everyone feeling well-equipped and well-prepared to innovate and to actually protect their inventions through patents. And in doing so, we're hoping that it brings that opportunity to all of our engineers and employees. Also, we've spearheaded this through our IP department, and as part of our best practices at Qualcomm, we want to continue to grow this area and encourage our own employees to engage. The benefits of expanding the pool of inventors are clear. Not only do more diverse inventor communities result in more diverse problem solving, they also create more jobs, boost the economy, help close the wage and wealth gaps, and lead to new insights and discoveries that improve society. Regardless of technical area, country, corporate, government, or institution, there are things that all of us can find commonality on, that this is actually good for all of us to expand this opportunity. I hope that you'll join me in searching for more opportunities to expand access to the patent system, a system that many of us in this room have spent our careers fighting for and must be kept strong and vibrant. And I'm confident that together we can cultivate more innovation by more people to move us forward. Thank you.